Hello and welcome back. Last time you guys opened up GIMP, created a document, and used your pen on the tablet to be able to get comfortable moving around and drawing with it. This time, we're going to add a new tools to your roster here, to your repertoire. And one of the big things that we're going to learn today is using layers. And I'll get to that in just a second. So, first thing that we should do is open up our program. So just get GIMP right here. So let that load up. Come on. There we go. And again, you always go to File, New to create a new one. My preferred one right now, just for drawing at the moment, is 1300 by 1000 pixels. I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to move this out to here. And again, I like it to be the size of the window itself. And I also like my pen brush size to be pretty small, and I really like using the actual just paintbrush tool because it's very smooth and it's a lot easier to use. So right now you have a background, and if you start drawing like you did last time on the background, that's it. That's what your background itself looks like. And I'm not a fan of putting everything on one layer like that. I like to be able to move things around. Okay, so I'm going to undo that. And if you come over here, right here, there's a thing called a new layer. And I'm going to name this layer something that I want to draw. So I want to draw, let's say, a person. So I'm going to name this one Person 1. And it's going to be the same size as the canvas that I already have. And I'm going to set it to transparency, and the reason being is that I'm going to draw on this layer as if I was drawing on kind of a really thin sheet of tracing paper. And it's going to go over the top of it, and you're still going to be able to see everything underneath it. Okay, so I'm going to hit OK. And now I am on this layer. If you notice over in this spot right here, I'm drawing on this layer, not this layer. So anytime you go to set a new layer, you want to have it highlighted, so when you draw on it, it doesn't affect your background, okay, or all the other layers that you have done. So I'm going to draw a person on here. So I'm going to have my paintbrush tool selected because it's my favorite, and I've got my size down, and I'm just going to draw. Okay, so let's say I'm going to draw a person here. So he's going to say, he's going to have eyes, something's wowing him, wow, and he's got legs. Let's go, he's pointing up there, and he's just super surprised. Well, if I draw, let's say I want to go draw another person over here. That person, okay, let's do a real quick one, is going to be attached to the same layer. And one of the things I want to show you here real quick before we get into a lot of stuff is this thing right here is the move tool. This allows you to take an object and move it. Right now, if I just touch the background here, you notice over here the background starts to get selected. So watch this again. Even though I'm on this layer, if I touch right here, I'm touching the background, it switches layers and I can just move the background around. Okay, but notice the people that I drew are staying still. Okay, so let's undo that, put everything back to where it is. So let's say I go over here and I touch this person, so I touch the line that I drew, and I can move it around, but it moves everything. I don't want everything to be moved. Okay, I only want one of these people to be moved. So let's say I go back, and to do that, I could create a brand new layer. So let's do this layer and call it Person 2. Okay, I'm going to keep the same dimensions, keep it on transparency so you can see everything behind it, and hit OK. So now that I'm on Person 2's layer, you always have to remember, at first you're probably going to forget 20,000 times, but you're going to go over here and you're going to make sure you're on that layer. I want to draw on this layer because this layer has my Person 1, this layer is going to have my Person 2, this one has my background. So person 2 here. Let's say I want to draw. Let's go over to my pen tool here. And I want to draw another person. And that person, let's say, let's draw the head, eyes, mouth. Okay, it's like, what? Okay, it's got this what's going on over there, and their legs right here. Now the great thing about this is these guys are best buds, but they're totally spread apart, and I need to make sure that they're close together. To be able to do this, again, since I have 2 layers here, when I go over to the Move tool, I can go and select this person, and I know that once I click, it's selecting them, because over there it says person 2 is still highlighted, and I can move them over here. And now they're together as best buds. So with 2 layers, or more than 1 layer, there's 3 here, I can select each one, draw something on each of those layers, and at that point I can start moving them around separately, and that's what layers are all about. It's so awesome. You don't have to have everything all on one. It's kind of like if you mess up on a drawing, you're done, you got to start all over. Unless, you can always undo on here. But with this, if you put them on separate layers, you can move each one around independently. And that's going to be very, very, very helpful for your activities here in just a little bit. Okay, but we want to do more than that. Like I said, I was going to teach you to use layers. I'm just going to add some more tools to your repertoire. So what we're going to do is we're going to add even another layer. So let's take this layer and we're going to call it text, because we want to type something on here. So let's call this text and hit OK. So what we're going to go do is go over to this tool here. So we're going to call this text. This is our text. So once we have this, we can actually start typing. So I'm going to put this right here and say I want to type right there. So I'm going to start typing out my words. I can say, look over there, exclamation point. Now, if I want to change the size of this, okay? So I want to, let's go back over here. I want to change the size of this. So I highlight all of it. I can go here. Oh, come on. Move this. There we go. So let's go over here, and I want to change the size of this to be bigger. I just click this up arrow. If you want to change it manually, you can. You can say 25 pixels. There you go. And he's got it. Let's make it just a little bit bigger. Look over there. Okay. And now I can move this back. There we go. And I can just click on a layer. Oh, I guess we don't have to have the text. Let's say you have a layer that you don't want to get rid of. I mean, you do want to get rid of. If you kind of right click or 2-finger click on a Mac, let's say you want to go down and delete a layer, you can say, oh, that layer I don't need, delete layer, and it's fine. So when you write, if you do text, text becomes its own layer automatically. Look over there, okay? Now let's say I want to move that around, I don't like it right there. What you do is, again, you do your move tool, come over to here, make sure you highlight, nope, see how I went to do that? That says background, I need to try it again, get it on the text itself, and I can move it around. And he's going to say it like that, look over there. Now we want to do yet another layer. Now this is a layer that I want to do for an image. I want to put an image on here that I get from the internet. You found something that you really like, you don't want to draw it, you still want it in here. So what you do is you got to find your image first. If you already have one, that's awesome. But I'm going to go search for one right now and just show you the whole process. Let's see, I want to do Superman flying. There we go. I'm going to do a search. Let's find an image. And let's see, is there any that I really like? Oh, I really like this one. So let's click on it. See, this one has it to where it's transparent background. I can view image here. I can right click or 2-finger click on a Mac, save image as, and I'm going to put it on my desktop. Note what it's titled so that you can go find it again. Hit save, and voila, there it is. It's on your computer. There it is, right on your desktop. Now what's great about this is here is your GIMP files, and or your canvas, all you have to do is just take your file itself, drag it onto it, and boom, once it loads, it's on there. There you go. So now you have your image in there. Now I can, again, since I'm on the move tool, as long as I'm on my image itself, I can click on it. Okay, notice this is still highlighted. If I accidentally clicked here, that would be my background. You want to make sure that the layer is still selected. I'm going to move him over here, but he's still huge. He's huge on the screen. I want to make him smaller. If you go over to here for your images, and it's called the scale tool, you click there, click on them, and if you grab any of these little squares here, or the big squares, you can resize it by dragging it. And let's say he's going to be this small because he's going to be really far away. Okay, and then if you go over here to scale, I'm going to say scale, and it will change it for me. I'm going to go back to grab. I can move just him around and not all the other ones because I have just that layer by itself. And voila, I have two people, one saying, look over there, at an image that's in the air. I have text, two people, and again, I can move each one independently. So let's say I want to move him around just a little bit more. Nope, grab the background. Nope. Let's do, there we go, person two. I'll move him over here a little bit. There we go. Look over there. So now you know how to create new layers. You know why they're good. You know how to draw on a layer. You know how to add text on a layer. You know how to insert an image that you find off the internet. And all we have to do is save this now. So I'm going to go up to File. Now again, we don't just save it normally. We export it as an image. Again, export. I'm going to export it to my desktop. That way I have it and I can move it around anywhere I want from there. And it's going to be just a .png. I want to name this, so that's already highlighted for me, so I can type this as look up in the sky. It's Superman. Alright, all I have to do now, since I have it where I want it to go, is hit export. Leave everything the same. Again, it wants to do this. That's okay with me. Compression level. So all the way up. Hit export. And my image is there. The one that I just created. Voila. There we go. Look up in the sky. It's Superman. Alright, guys. It's your turn. And next we will add even some more things. Alright. See you in the next video.